Today I'm going to show you how to glaze a tile. Now my tools are obviously my tile. I got some brushes here. I got a medium brush and several other brushes here. Some small brushes for some details. I also have these glaze applicators. It's got a little pin lid to it. Do be careful with that little pin. It is sharp. We'll talk about this in just a moment. You just put that right into the applicator so it stays plugged just like that. Now what you want to do is think about first and foremost your design. Hopefully you've already drawn out a few of your designs that you want. I'm going to do an abstract design for this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start laying down some of my colors here. I got one of my glazes. Remember to only dip the tip there. There we go. You could also have your design already drawn on this tile, and that would actually be a good idea. But for just the sake of this example, I'm going to do this one right onto the tile. I'm going to create a design, just an abstract design, just like this. And I'll go back in with some detail a little bit later. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you're being nice and neat as possible, and think about in layers as well. You want to have several coats, so I probably want to come back a little bit later and do several other coats of this, or I can put another color over the top of it as well. Now do remember that when you're doing this as well, you could use as many colors as you would like, but make sure the colors will go well together. You don't want to put colors on top of colors that are already wet, so you don't want to be mixing those in. You could probably do that with your own personal glaze, but since our class shares these glazes, you end up mixing a lot of the other glaze instead of the other colors. There we go. Just like that. Every once in a while you get a little chunk like that, and that's fine. It actually melts inside the kiln. There we go. And if you notice, this glaze is a lot thicker than the other glaze I was using. The other glaze was really runny, and they both do fine. Now when you do this, make sure that if you do get some glaze in a spot where you don't want glaze, you can always use a wet paper towel to go ahead and clean it off. And especially, do remember, you don't want any glaze on the bottom. Like I got some glaze right on there on the side. If I didn't want it there, I could just wipe it off with the paper towel. It does keep a little color on there, but it's not much. That's fine. Now I can go back in with some details. I'm going to use this color for some details here. And you can do whatever details that you like. Whatever comes into your imagination there. Whatever you come up with. Do remember, choose the appropriate size brush for the details that you want. Let me also go over these glaze applicators as well. One here I got filled with yellow. Again, you want to be careful of that little needle plug there. You just simply tip it over and you'll squeeze a little bit and it will draw just like this. Makes nice neat lines. Sometimes it gets a little plugged, and all you have to do if you get a plug is put the little needle right back into the tip. Can be just a little tricky to get it in there. There's a real small hole. You shove it down in there, clear the plug, and then you can start drawing again. You see I have another tile here that's actually already been glazed. Notice this is a flower. I've done several coats on this. Again, you want to make sure you don't get any on the back, and if you do, you can always just wipe it off with a paper towel, just like that. Because if that is laying on the kiln shelf and it fires, that glaze will actually act like a glue and stick the tile or whatever ceramics piece it is right to the kiln shelf, and it's kind of hard to get off sometimes. And that's how we glaze our tiles.